Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to make the exact same journey that Suki's ghost is said to make regularly from the caves here back to the Georgian Dragon. Suki is said to have lived in the late 18th to early 19th century, and we will now follow her footsteps, so to speak. I bet she doesn't have to do that, does she? Suki's story, for anyone that hasn't watched or listened already, she was a maid or a barmaid at the Georgian Dragon. She was very beautiful. 3 local lads had ideas on her, but Suki had different ideas, which weren't these 3 young lads, and she wanted a better life for herself. And a young gentleman, this being the Oxford to London road and the Georgian Dragon being a big coaching inn of its day, a young gentleman came along and she took a shine to him. These 3 young lads got totally peed off with this, so they hatched a very nasty trick. They faked a letter from this supposed gentleman to Suki, saying to meet him at the caves and that he wished to marry her and that she was to wear her best dress, which is what she did. She made her way to the caves in her best dress, and waiting for her was not her beloved or intended. It was these 3 scornful young men who basically took the wee-wee out of her. Stones were thrown by Suki. Stones were thrown back by the lads. One of them was a little bit too big. It hit her on the head and knocked her unconscious. The story is the lads, being utterly terrified, carried her back to the Georgian Dragon, and she was put in her bed. And being in an era where people wouldn't have understood much about concussion, she was found dead in her bed the next morning. And we are making the exact same journey that Suki is said to make, quite often on a nightly basis. Under the old church loft where the pilgrims used to sleep. And past the town jail. There's still crap stored in there by the looks of it, but there's names and things on there, and there's the old hatch for it. Would have been carriages and horses in Suki's day, and men on horseback and women on horseback, riding side saddle preferably in those days. children dragon. Hello. Oh. My old room, and with some string pulling from a very good local friend that I've made. I have been moved into Suki's room, so join me. The cupboard just came open on its own. Join me inside, where our ghost hunting will begin. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are in the Suki room, room 11. And we're looking at the fireplace, and this is the spot where in the room where Suki is most said to be seen. She's often said to be seen, although there's no chair, sitting in a chair by this fire. The next location that she's seen is on the stairs, making her way up and down. So what we're going to do is, firstly, we're going to sit quietly for a minute. I'm going to ask some questions. Then we're going to put the spirit box on. Then I'll pause you. Then we'll start off at the stairs outside and we'll make our way up. Then I'll pause you again and we'll be heading out back to the old stable yard and the mystery mound that the old fellas round here talk about. So, firstly, let's talk about Suki. Suki, a barmaid or maid in this pub in the 18th or 19th century, said to be very beautiful. She had ideas to marry a gentleman and better her station in life. A gentleman came to this pub, being a coaching inn along the Oxford to London road in those days, and Suki set her cap at him, so to speak. 3 local lads who fancied Suki basically got the right hump at this, as I've said, and they set the nasty trick. The letter that was sent to Suki, she went to the caves thinking she was going to be running away with the love of her life, and instead she found 3 scornful youths, and it turned very nasty. She was stoned, knocked unconscious and carried back here to this room. Now, the story in the pub, thank you, if that is you, Suki, thank you. This room is very active. I'm in my other room. I was directly below this room, and the creaking that you could hear at night time was quite interesting, and it was late as well. So part of my experiment, when I go to bed, the EVP recorder, which you see here, which is recording now, when I finish this recording I'll turn it off, and then just before I go to bed I'll put it on, because I can't see me staying awake till 3-4 o'clock in the morning tonight. I'm absolutely knackered from last night. So yeah, that's going to be part of our experiment. I don't expect to catch anything. You never do when you try to record it. It's always the way. They're not performers, they can't perform. So yeah, the other ghost that's said to haunt this pub is known as the Poor Murdered Gentleman. A gentleman that was staying here in the Coaching Inn, and word got about that he had some money on him, and he was murdered here and his money stolen, and his ghost is said to wander the rooms and up and down the stairs searching for his money. When ever questioned or prompted or asked about himself in paranormal investigations, the name Thomas comes up. So if the poor murdered gentleman is called Thomas and he would like to make an appearance this evening, that'd be great. Or, thank you. Or any other ghosts or spirit people here, because there are rumoured to be more. What we're going to do now is turn on the spirit box. You ladies and gents all know what the spirit box is about. It is noisy, I know, but it aids us. The spirits may not know what it is, so we'll have to explain that to them. Basically, it's a very noisy modern device that they can use to speak to us through. Just over here in the corner, I've got the EM pump nicely tucked away so it doesn't make too much of a buzzing noise. That's a fly. Yeah, that's a fly. And you can see the difference, can't you, between flies and orbs now. That's tucked, yeah, EM pump's tucked away in the corner over there. They can use that to take energy from. The noisy device, called a spirit box, they can use to talk to us through. So, I'm going to turn that on now. Suki, were you a real person? Thank you. Was Suki your real name? If not, what was your real name? The boys that killed you, did anything ever happen to them? As in regards to the law? Or was it indeed, as is said in the local community, hushed up? What were the names of the boys? And do you wander back and forth from the caves to here in your white dress? You've been seen many times. Hello. Are there any of the old landlords or landladies, or the servants of the pub, or any of the guests that would like to come and speak to us? It's been a long time. Do you not get many people that try to speak to you? This pub is famous for its ghosts. Did you just say Dashwood? I was just about to ask, funny enough, did Sir Francis Dashwood drink in this pub? Was Sir Francis Dashwood a good man that helped the local community? When Paul Whitehead's heart in its stone urn was marched up the hill, did any of you spirit people, locals, see that ceremony? And what did you think of it? Floorboards have just creaked slightly in here. I don't know if that's it settling or... Did you just show yourself by the fire? Fires aren't allowed in this building anymore in the rooms. Not like in your day. So, using modern technology, we've got a little look of a fire going. And the crackly sound. What do you think of that? How many maids slept in this room? It's very active in here, isn't it? Ladies and gents, it's gone really, really cold in here. Suki, the Bride Ghost, will you come and speak to us? What did the locals think about what Sir Francis Dashwood and the Hellfire Club got up to in those caves? Thank you if you have spoken to us through this machine. It can help the living hear you where our own ears can't. I bet this was a very busy, noisy, bustling place in its day, wasn't it? I will ask this question again when we get out there, but out the back, where the old stable yards are, or were, where the beer garden is now, there's a large mound, and a lot of the older people round here say that in the 1700s, cholera came, and quite a lot of people died, and rather than have them hauled all the way up the hill to the old church, they were buried there. Is that true? I got a feeling that maybe horses are buried there. Did they bury the dead horses, or did they go to the knacker? Did you just say it's rape? Was someone raped in this place? If you can, please speak into the device I'm talking to, or the device I'm looking at with the blue flashing light. I'm going to turn this noisy machine off now. For a few minutes we'll sit quietly, so if you can say anything, please do. Well, ladies and gents, it's an active room, I'll say that for it. It's very, very cold in here, and it wasn't like that earlier. As soon as I put the EM pump on, things started to get a bit zesty, shall we say, in here. Not unpleasant, not in any way, shape or unpleasant. I find this very interesting. And of course, as I've said before, my aim in this is to prove to myself and to yous that there is such a thing as an afterlife and souls. So, hopefully we've gone a little way towards doing that with these haunted events that we've hosted in West Wycombe. West Wycombe's a very haunted place, and there's a hell of a lot of history in this little place. So, I'm going to sit quietly for a few minutes. Can you hear that? Ooh, it's got even colder in here. This is the noise I've been hearing in the room below. Suki, is that you? Well, ladies and gentlemen, living and dead, I'm going to pause this in a sec, and then we'll be outside on the staircase. There'll be no spirit box there because that'll be a bit too noisy and wake people up. I've been asked not to use the spirit box there, which is fair enough. It's nice enough of them to let me do EVP recordings. So I shall pause this one. I'll turn the EVP recorder off, and then you'll join me at the bottom of the stairs, and we'll make the journey that Suki is said to make. And I'll show you the spot where she's most commonly seen. And this is the spot where Suki is most commonly seen. So if Suki or the poor murdered gentleman can speak or say anything, or any other ghosts or spirit people who would like to show themselves on the stairs, that would be great. Feels fairly quiet here at the moment. And we are back out in the street because we'll be going into the stable yard area in a minute. This is where I was staying, and there is where I'm staying now. And you have to imagine the busy horses and carriages and people on horseback going up and down the Oxford to London road. When this place was in its heyday, the carriages would have come through here. The ostlers and stables areas are here. There used to be more stables and things around here, but been replaced in modern times or taken down. And this is the wall of Lord Dashwood's estate. And this is its beer garden. And this area will be the next phase of our investigation. We can use the spirit box out here. And here it is, the mystery mound. It's quite raised up by about, I'd say, a foot, nearly 2 foot. There's a small tree been planted in the centre of it which died. Whatever they plant here doesn't grow. And a lot of the local people say that, see, look, you can see the difference between flies and orbs. A lot of the local people say that cholera victims are buried here. So I wonder if that's true. It is very cold, that's my breath. Right, so I'll plonk us down over here. Pause us a minute while I get the setup ready. And here we are, we're all set up. We're in the pub garden. The EVP recorder is going, and that's next to the phone. We'll sit here quietly for a minute. If there are any ghosts or spirit people here that would like to say anything or show yourself, please do so. I'd appreciate that. And then I shall put the spirit box on in a minute. I'm going to put the spirit box on now, so if there are any ghosts or spirit people present, please use the buzzing device to take energy, and the device that makes a fuzzy noise, you can speak through that and we can hear you. If there are any ghosts or spirit people present, please use this device to speak. What's your name, please? What is your job here? If you can, show yourself in the smoky breath. That's still how cold it is here.
Around the night. The hospital.
Are there people buried here? If so, how many?
Yes, I have.
It seems pretty quiet out here. There are some voices coming through. Do you know that you're dead? How old were you when you died? Is Suki real? I bet this place was amazingly busy in its day, wasn't it?
Consulate.
Sir Francis Dashwood. Paul Whitehead. Lady Dashwood. Thomas.
So many.
How many? How many spirits haunt the Georgian dragon? Was your life a happy one?
Hold it, release. Release.
I'm going to turn this off in a minute, so if there's anything you'd like to say, please say it now.
It's the only
that's that turned off now. I'll sit quietly just for a minute, see if anything gets picked up, and then we'll end this one. Thanks for watching, everyone, and to any spirits that have partaken, thank you for doing so. Now, let's examine some of the evidence, a piece of which I captured completely inadvertently on my first day in West Wycombe. But before we do that, I'd like to show you this. This is the original sign that used to hang outside, and it is extremely old. It may well even go back to the Georgian era itself. It was brought into the pub some years ago for safety, and was replaced with this one outside. Also painted on copper, and they've done a pretty good job with this. But for the inadvertent piece or person I captured on my first day, I do, or like to do, places by day and places by night. And I was walking along West Wycombe High Street, just filming the High Street and talking about Suki. Come up to the pub and give you a view of the pub. Now, who or what we see in the window shouldn't actually be there in that room, because at the time that room had been empty for several days and was due to be empty until the middle part of the coming week, because there was a problem with the shower tray in there which was leaking. Plumber couldn't come and do it till then, so the room had been cleaned, aired, locked and left empty. Checked with the staff and cleaners, there was no one in the room, and there should have been no one in the room. But this is what or who we captured. Yeah, she was tricked by local lads, sent a letter saying that a gentleman who'd been passing through, as she'd taken a fancy to and into her obviously, that he'd decided to marry her, and that she was to meet him at the caves, dressed in her best dress. Now, I've slowed this one down a lot for you, hence why it's a little bit glitchy, but we get a much better look, and there are pictures as well, or screenshots I've taken. But did I inadvertently capture a ghost? Which the people in the pub are convinced that I have. Others who've already seen this clip, I didn't notice this. It was kindly pointed out to me. I didn't notice this lady at all when I was doing my video. I wasn't doing anything paranormal. I was just walking along the street filming, and there she was. That's very strange. And here we have a still picture of her, one of them. The strange thing that was noted by one of the ladies in the pub is A, the speed at which she moved in the original video, and B, that she appears to have no facial features, which is quite strange. Now, what do you ladies and gents think of this one? I'd be interested to know. Checking with the staff, the room was empty. No one had been in there. The only person that was around up in that area in the hotel on that day was the cleaner, who is an Italian woman with jet black hair. So, and she saw this and was quite unnerved by it. Being a good Catholic, she thinks the dead should stay on the other side where they belong. But very interesting this, isn't it, eh? So, let me know what you think of that. The orbs and the audios in this one speak for themselves, really. I did highlight certain things. I've no need to show any pictures of the orbs. We saw them. And I got this one a lot better. It's been a bit of a learning curve with the broadcasting paranormal stuff, which I've not really done before. You was able to hear me a lot better in this one, asking the questions, and hopefully able to hear the voices coming through the spirit box a lot better. So, as I say, the orbs and audios pretty much speak for themselves. But for our next piece of evidence, this is a voice recording not done through my EVP recorder, which had run out, I'm afraid. I done so many recordings on it that day that I ran the poor thing's battery out, and I've still yet to go through a lot of those EVPs, which I will be doing over the coming weeks. These recordings were done on the voice recorder on my phone, so when I went to sleep I set it up so it would record a 5-hour recording. Most of that was quiet, but what we captured in these two separate recordings is very, very interesting and very creepy. And you may ask yourself, how did I sleep through that? I'm a very, very heavy sleeper. I've slept through a lot louder than that. But this is the next capture. And that, ladies and gents, concludes our ghost hunt of the Georgian Dragon and our ghost hunting in West Wycombe. This was on my last night. There are a couple of other videos West Wycombe related that will hit the page, a nice little coffee morning one. And I will be listening to the EVPs from the EVP recorder over the next couple of weeks, so if anything interesting crops up on there, I'll let you know about it. Hope you all enjoyed this one and found it interesting. Thanks very much for watching, and let me know in the comments section what you think you felt, saw, heard, or what your thoughts and feelings are on this one. Hope you all found it interesting. Thanks very much.